You're being very generous.
I didn't say
I just want to know what the fuck's going on. I don't care about respecting her privacy. She put her relationship out there. She's shoved it down our throats for several years to his reluctance, because every time you see him, he just looks very like he's just begrudgingly getting through his days with his cigarette and his Dunkin' Donuts coffee. But I just want to
what's
you're
going
clearly
on?
not together, so just like end it, and once you talk about not being together, then everybody will move on from that story, unless she wants everybody talking about her and speculating.
I don't know, girl.
I think she likes the attention.
I think we all like the attention. It's the Pop Report.
So juicy.
Happy end of Pride.
Oh, it is end of Pride. We're officially into, what is July?
Straight activities resume month?
No, there's like a history month in July, isn't there? Or we just don't count July?
I just know it's the day the corporations flip back and
take off the rainbows. Thank God. I think rainbows are so fucking tacky.
I don't have any rainbow memorabilia.
I have nothing rainbow memorabilia except a pair of rainbow underwear that my mother bought me, and I use it only when I have to.
We'll come back to that in a minute. How are you?
I'm great.
You are on high tails of launch.
Yes, we've launched the new season of Disaster Daters. We have Tom Schwartz on. We're talking all about sex, dating, relationships. We should have you come on an episode of Disaster Daters.
I wouldn't mind. Cross-pollinate.
Yeah. Are you actually going to be honest about your dating life?
Girl, I got a chapter book on chapter book of dates and men and...
I just mean like your current dating life.
Sure. You know, we out here living our best life.
Yeah.
Happy. What's new other than new podcast launch and more?
We out here living life, happy and living.
Well, I went cliff jumping this weekend.
What is that? Why are you jumping off of cliffs? That sounds like a really stupid thing to do.
So I've been seeing this man. It's been really fun. And
we're allowed to.
Yeah,
we're allowed to say okay.
I've been seeing a man, and he's like, "Do you want to go cliff jumping?" And I was like, "The fuck is cliff jumping?"
This is the power of peer pressure
and
bullying and harassment.
It's just open.
No, I
honesty.
mean you getting to finally talk about it.
I mean,
after I berated you for an hour.
No, you berated me for months about this.
I know, but for this hour specifically.
No, I went and I cut my handle open a little bit. I have the biggest fucking bruise.
Wait,
on
so
my
okay,
leg.
explain to me what cliff jumping is, because it sounds like some real white people shit.
Yeah, if you are familiar with Orange County, like not Housewives.
Is that where you went, Orange County?
Yeah, it was in Orange County.
Okay.
And it was after VidCon. I covered VidCon this past weekend, and this guy I'm seeing's like, "Do you want to go cliff jumping?" And I was like, "The hell does that do?" So we drive to like Costa del Mar, which is near Newport Beach, and you just go in low tide where all the rocks are available, and you climb up the cliffs. There's like big rock formations that are in the ocean. When the low tide hits, you can actually walk out to some of them. You jump up one, jump off.
And you do this unsupervised?
I mean, there's lifeguards, but yeah, I did one and done. I was like, you go first, and then I will go. So then we did it together after I saw him do it. I was like, I'll watch to make sure like nothing happens. And like that's a strong current and tide, but it was fun. I got a little scrape on my
well,
finger.
You survived.
I can't bend my finger fully right now. Like it's a little there's something.
Cramping.
The bruise, I got smacked up by the wave onto the ocean wall, and it is gnarly. But I had a great time. I say it was probably 30, 40 feet jump.
Wow, that is impressive. I am not that adventurous. I remember I had to go ziplining in Mexico last year, and that was terrifying.
Why? Because
I don't like
family
heights.
Or like
it was our family vacation. We went to Cancun for my sister's birthday, and she wanted to go ziplining, and I said absolutely not. And then they, gave me a couple more. Well, actually, no, I didn't have drinks because the resort place
sober.
didn't have. Yeah, I had to do it sober, unfortunately. But I did it, and it actually was a lot better than I had expected.
Yeah, I'll take you on a little.
Please don't.
Extravaganza next time that is at least over 50 feet high.
Okay, listen, I will do something in a controlled environment.
What is this, like a trampoline
I'm not going to go to a random cliff and just start jumping. You know what your mama taught you when you're growing up? And she's like, if everybody's jumping off a cliff, would you do it too? No, I would not.
I wouldn't even call it a cliff. It was like a big rock formation.
You said it was a cliff.
That's what they call it, the locals.
Now we're changing the terms.
Terms and conditions have been...
He's got a big
Cliff.
Nope, it was a Little Rock.
It was Little Rock, Arkansas.
But no, I had a good weekend. I also went out and I was at High Tops and I ran into my mother.
You went to a gay bar and you ran into your mother, and that is something I cannot
She's just
shake from my conscience. And you were not just with anybody, you were with someone you're also seeing.
Yes.
Yeah. So, tit for tat. We both had weekends with a man, and we both did some fun shit.
Okay, but yours didn't meet your mother.
That's different.
That was very different.
Your mom's also close by, and she's in close proximity, so don't even go there. My mom's on another coast.
It was very awkward. She was drunk. She had just come from the Abbey. She was living her life. She was having a good night. I was like, "What are you doing out?" And she's like, "We're just having a fun day out." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So it was her and her partner, and they got to meet this guy.
Great.
And it was.
And you're so uncomfortable
very
now.
Uncomfortable.
Well, I'm glad that we're all living life.
Oh, but no, but she said, she's like, "Oh my God, I really like him, but I really like his friend better."
He had a friend with you?
Not really. It was some random guy that we had ran into at High Tops as well, that I guess he had met previously one time before, and then, yeah. So my mom liked him better than the guy that I was
like
on
a backhanded compliment. Anyway, welcome to the Pop Report.
Welcome to the Pop Report.
If you haven't subscribed, we've seen a lot of people coming through lately on some of the listening and some
like a brothel. I was like, come through.
A brothel?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you haven't subscribed, number one, that's really freaking rude. I'm disgusted.
Subscribe. Leave us reviews. Did we get a new review?
Not ones I want to read right now.
Why?
Because I want to talk about Jennifer Lopez. We kind of spent a little minute talking about these men we're
curious.
seeing.
Well, let's talk about the man she's not seen.
Yeah, so hot out the gate. I know y'all care about the news more than us. So Jennifer Lopez has a new report coming out. We haven't touched on her because I think we all been keeping up with what's going on and we all kind of know what's going on. But a new report has come out with Page Six saying that the relationship has been over for months, allegedly. And we've seen Jennifer Lopez out and about with her ring. We've seen her in very public places. They obviously, as Ben Affleck and Jennifer have been going through stages of life with graduations and more, they've come together, but it's been this muddled, what are they doing, what are they not? You know?
Because he lives in another rental, doesn't he?
Yeah, he apparently moved out. He and her are selling their home they purchased last year. So there's been
pretty obvious.
There's been no official comment. I think that's what everyone's just kind of you put your relationship on display. You make a movie about it. You make a spectacle about it. You make an album about it. And I think that's awesome. But I think everyone also wants to be supportive of you and your time and just understand how can we as viewers and musician lovers and film lovers of Jennifer Lopez just know how to support you and not poke anything that's uncomfortable.
You're being very generous.
I didn't say
I just want to know what the fuck's going on. I don't care about respecting her privacy. She put her relationship out there. She's shoved it down our throats for several years to his reluctance, because every time you see him, he just looks very he's just begrudgingly getting through his days with his cigarette and his Dunkin' Donuts coffee. But I just want to
what's
you're
going
clearly
on?
not together, so just end it, and once you talk about not being together, then everybody will move on from that story, unless she wants everybody talking about her and speculating.
I don't know, girl.
I think she likes the attention.
I think we all like the attention.
Yeah.
Different ways, same but different. But I at least want to touch on that because I don't know what's going to happen. But
did you ever expect them to last?
I will say at least I expect it to last longer than the time we're at right now. It's been a year since I got married.
Yeah.
So I just thought that'd be later in life. Maybe you have couples that are in the status of 20, 30 years plus and they're we called it quits.
Yeah.
You know, Hugh Jackman and his partner. But I didn't expect it this soon. But what do you think is going to happen next? What do you think is going to come out in the next few months?
There's probably going to be a cheating scandal. I think she'll flip the narrative and make it seem like he stepped out and that's why it ended. Or it's either going to be a cheating scandal or some sort of abuse allegation. That's usually what it is. It's one of the two.
I think she'll do a tell-all memoir at some point.
You think she's gonna write a book about this?
No, I think she'll write a book about her life at some point,
Mm.
and like that's gonna be when everything has muddled out, and it's probably gonna be about A-Rod. It's gonna be about Ben.
Oh,
It's gonna be
A-Rod. I
about Mark
forgot about
Anthony.
A-Rod. Mark Anthony.
I think she'll do that, and she'll have her saving grace of like people wanting to read and relate to her story.
You really think people are gonna read it and enjoy her after that?
I think that she might try to like do that with her team as like a PR move, because right now they're having a really difficult time. Like anything she does, anything she's a part of, and everyone's back in this
Well,
JLo distaste.
her Netflix movie did well, no?
It did very well, but the press tour did not go very well. So in the press tour, people, which you're not supposed to in the rule of just like being a journalist and being in the audience, asking questions at film junkets, you're not really supposed to say, hey, like you haven't addressed your relationship. And Simu Liu was like in Mexico with her, and this journalist asked exactly that. And he was like, let's not do that. You shouldn't ask that. She addressed it saying, you know better. So
You know better than what? To ask questions of the public when you're part of the press?
yeah. I think it was just the timing, and like she wants to control the timing whenever she wants to talk about it. It is her relationship,
You
but I
can't
think
be public and open and then also have all of these boundaries. I mean, it's like the conversation that we were having about
the Kardashians and filming,
the
like I don't-
Kardashians and Ariana and Vanderpump Rules, and like how everybody wants to have these strict boundaries, but then they also want to have the benefits and the perks of living a public life. It's like pick a lane, Kourtney Kardashian. Do you want to be a Kardashian or you don't want to be a Kardashian? Like you need to decide what you want to do with your life. Either you're in or you're out.
yeah.
And I think with JLo, I don't have it. I think that that's a natural question for a reporter to ask is, hey, what's the update on your relationship?
Yeah, it's
Now, there are times where I feel like maybe media or press pushes a little too hard in a way that's, I mean, it's one thing to have natural questions about what's going on, but it's another thing when they push a little too hard to be a little mean. And
yeah.
I think that's like what Oprah is now trying to talk about. Because I saw,
what's going on with Oprah, because I saw you put this in our little like notes.
yeah, so she did a podcast and
Wait, she does interviews? She is
apparently-
Oprah. She like
listen, Oprah's brand is not what it used to be. So she's a guest on a podcast,
tight.
where she talks about how the media was really hard on her about her weight. And she specifically references Joan Rivers.
Got
and
it.
she calls out Joan Rivers for, taking shots at her weight back in the day, which to me is kind of a cheap shot because Joan Rivers is
isn't here
dead.
anymore. Yeah.
She's dead, and she was a comedian, and she was provocative, and like the role she played in our culture was to push the boundaries, and she was rewarded for pushing the boundaries, and that time was very different from now.
Mhm.
And I know that this is a big conversation about how the media treated women, especially back then, and the body shaming. And I get it. And I don't think that we were very nice to women before. And I think that, there was a lot of pressure that was put on women, especially young women in Hollywood, to always be stick thin and to have these
Heroin chic.
unattainable. Yeah. And so now it's a little different when it comes to Oprah, though, because Oprah wasn't this young, impressionable 23-year-old girl that was bullied in the media for her weight. Oprah is somebody that made her weight a talking point on her nationally syndicated talk show.
And she did join Weight Watchers on the board. And
She joined Weight Watchers. She was on the board. She tried to change the conversation about weight to like do Weight Watchers because I love bread. Remember her bread commercials, which always talked about bread? So she made her weight and her body very much a topic of conversation. And not only that, she made her weight loss journey part of the story that she continued to put out on her television show. So there is a level of accountability that she needs to take for encouraging women to be thinner and to be skinnier. And I know she's trying to flip that narrative now, and I don't like that we want to rewrite history and kind of turn ourselves into the victim when I do think Oprah played a complicit role in that narrative.
We'll get back to that, but what did she say first on like the podcast? I have something to add to what she's spoken out about her weight and more, but what did she say like about Joan Rivers?
Just that Joan Rivers asked her on television, how much do you weigh? And told her to lose 15 pounds.
Oh.
Now, they were jokes that Joan had that, way. I mean, not that it was appropriate. And again, what was tolerable then and what's tolerable now are different. But, when you're constantly talking about your weight and then Joan's making, jokes, well, how much do you weigh? That's lose 15 pounds. And it's said in kind of in jest.
Was
It's
that
a little
on air?
different.
Like on
I believe it was on Joan's talk show.
Got it.
And then she talks about fashion police and how Joan would like, comment on people's looks on fashion police. And I think Joan addressed it well back then when she was alive of like, listen, when we're on fashion police, we're talking about things that are silly as like hair and dresses. Like it's not a personal attack on someone's character or who they are as a person. We're commenting on their ridiculous outfits, and they're being paid millions upon millions of dollars to be paraded around at these award shows and wear these expensive, extravagant ball gowns. And now they, their feelings get hurt because you said their dress was ugly.
I mean, I'd be a little offended if my dress was ugly.
Yeah, you'd be offended if your dress was ugly, not if somebody called it out.
I'd like to make the worst dress list. Like to make a list. A list. But I do admit that Oprah also came out as of late, and she addressed how unhealthy the rapid weight loss programs she promoted on TV were, like liquid fast diets. And she came out and she said she's mortified on how she approached the talk show stage with a REO Speedwagon that had a large amount of just like weight and like all symbolized how much weight she lost, but it was fat. And I think maybe it was like 30 to 60 pounds, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
But she is mortified looking back at that on the way she introduced diet culture or the extreme diet cultures she would be a part of. So she has tried to take like some accountability of what she did put in front of people on like how fluctuant her weight programs would be or what she would encourage. And then her stepping down from the board of Weight Watchers as of late and telling people, if you take Ozempic, like you take it, like, if you need that, you need it. So she's trying to retake the narrative on it. I think taking a shot at Joan Rivers, like,
it's a little contradictory, right? Like she was just on the board of Weight Watchers and now she stepped down, which could very easily look like maybe they let her go for maybe not following whatever their program was. They could have very easily let her go, and we see celebrities go in the media and try to shift the narrative to try and deflect and whatever. But isn't she actively on Ozempic and encouraging people to take Ozempic?
I think that I need to look this up correctly, but I think Weight Watchers, with her new partnership or program with them, they're also looking in like educating people of if you do need to use weight loss drugs, like Weight Watchers helps introduce those types of programs for people. I need to look that up. I thought I saw that, but I don't want to.
How is Ozempic and this Ozempic craze right now any different from the fad diets that we were doing in the early 2000s? It's a different approach to encouraging weight loss.
I think it's a different approach, but also for those who in thyroid and other parts of like their body, like they do the things that you and I would do, like limit the calories, limit like different habits, but they still aren't seeing like weight go away. Like I'm not any doctor by any means. I think going into the Ozempic territory, I obviously know it's a big craze right now.
Yeah.
But like I don't know what we're also gonna see in like a few years of.
Because think about it, when we were doing juice cleanses, the conversation wasn't. Yeah, but the conversation wasn't let's starve ourselves to lose weight. The conversation was, our body needs a break and let's do a fast and let's do a detox.
Right. Juice
and
cleanse was a big thing.
Like juice, but so were all of these fads. Like at one point, all of these things were encouraged and endorsed.
But this is now a weight loss drug. Different in like eating habits, different than like exercise. It's like this is a new territory.
It is a new territory, but I'm just saying the same way we treated all of these different fads before is no different from what Ozempic is now. And I think to each of their credit with all of those different fads, Atkins, juice cleanses, whatever it was, there were health benefits to doing them, but I think once it became more mainstream, people then began to abuse those systems, and they weren't healthy for us. And they were, we had Beyonce doing the Master Cleanse and losing, 20 pounds. And so I think that's the same thing that we're doing now with Ozempic. It's different, yes, but it's still the same. And it's not, because here's the thing: there are people with, blood sugar issues that were doing well on Atkins because it limited the amount of sugar that you were taking in, the amount of carbs, and you were eating more fat and protein. Same thing with people that have blood sugar stability issues now and having Ozempic. That doesn't mean that everybody that's taking these is legitimately having struggles with their blood sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Also, there are other ways that you can address thyroid issues, and you can address hormone imbalances. There are many different medical protocols that you can address these different things with. Even when it comes to diabetics, I have family, diabetes runs in my family. There are ways to address that without Ozempic. Now, it is helpful and it can be beneficial for people, but that's not the place that we're in with Ozempic now. People are abusing it, and we've so normalized it to the point where everybody's just taking it because they want to be stick thin.
Some people are like, the weight just keeps dropping, and like I'm good. Like, I think it was Sharon Osbourne. She's like, it's gone too far. Like, I've lost more than I want to. So.
Yeah. I mean, and we don't know the long-term effects of taking Ozempic or Mounjaro or what. I mean, Ozempic is just the most commonly used term, but there are different variations of them. We don't know the long-term effects of them. We see many people that go on them, and then as soon as they come off, all of the weight immediately comes back. And so they're using it as more of a crutch rather than shifting to a healthier lifestyle.
We'll see what happens. I'm also interested to see what the next fad is. I forgot about the juice cleanse though. Like I'm on a juice cleanse, liquid fast diet.
Liquid for 3 days, 5 days, 7 days.
Girl.
30-day master cleanse where it was just lemon water and cayenne pepper. Remember that? Oof.
Oh, moving on to other topics. I don't know why I said topicos. Topo Chico. Miss Jojo Siwa. I saw her last week. I think we touched on it a bit last week where I went line dancing with her, which was interesting. I look over to my right and it says Joelle Siwa on the sign-in sheet. And I'm like, Joelle? Jojo. And so she was, at that event, posted a clip for work, did a little report on it. And she was a +1. So not even the reps knew that for this Facebook event, she was going to be there.
Wow.
But I don't know if you saw it. She got booed at a Pride festival.
I did see that, yes. And she was not happy about that.
No. And she stopped like mid-performance to just kind of see who did it. And she looked around the crowd.
Who booed at me?
Yeah. And it also is uncomfortable. Like, why would you boo someone at a Pride festival? Like, the last place you should also, number one, no one should do it in general. That's the last place in general you expect not to get caught. Like, everyone there is acceptance. Everyone there is obviously here for supporting and like community. To boo somebody, let alone Jojo Siwa, at an event and think there's not going to be a repercussion at that. That is how she handled it, was like a little
dumb,
little bigger than expected.
Dumb.
But she was like, who is it? Well,
here's the thing.
She said, respectfully, fuck you, whoever did that.
Jojo Siwa is also trying to be very provocative. And a lot of what she does are stunts, and it's very performative. And so I don't think that it's shocking that somebody booed her for going on stage to invoke a reaction out of them, and she gave them exactly what she wanted. I actually think that this was intentional on her end, and she was trying to have a moment similar to Adele. So remember when Adele was doing her show, and then she mentioned something about Pride, and then I think somebody booed when she mentioned Pride, and she's like, did you just boo Pride? And she's like, what are you doing at my fucking show and you're going to boo Pride, right? And that went viral, and everybody was like, oh my God, Queen Adele. Like, everyone was standing Adele for having that moment and calling somebody out in the audience for, taking shots at Pride. So I think Jojo Siwa, as performative and the stunt queen that she is, I think was hoping that this would be a viral moment where she can call somebody out for booing her. When I think people boo her at everything she does. Like, every show, I'm sure somebody in the audience is going to be booing her. And she just wanted to have a moment.
Hot take. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we've had a lot of moments from her, and she does keep popping up in the cycle of news no matter what she does. She's like,
oh my God, I'm at Disneyland and I'm getting drunk. Oh my God, look at me. I'm going to chug a bottle of Tito's on stage. Oh my God, look at me. I'm going to be stomping in the middle of Times Square. Like, it's all very performative.
Well, she's also 21. She's been in the spotlight like her entire time as a child. So now we're seeing her as an adult being in the spotlight, and she can do whatever she wants now. And she has money. This is the first time, like, I'm very cautious. I don't want to say scared, but like, we obviously have seen child stars and they transform to adulthood. And I just wonder what Jojo Siwa, like, she's getting a lot of like attention and more right now. But, you know, we've had the Lindsay Lohans, we've had like a lot of different people who have gone through that mass public spotlight at such a young age. And then they're like, I went away because I needed a break. And like they realize, hey, like, here's this thing I was doing. Is it sustainable? Is it healthy? Is it what I wanted? Don't know. But she's just growing up at the same time. She's 21, something like that.
No, she is young. You know, but she very much loves the attention, and she's very much throwing herself into this. Yeah.
Different. In other news, the BTS group is teasing some new potential music, something.
Okay.
So they put out a clip that something is coming on August 8th. And I don't know if you've kept up with like K-pop, if you're a K-pop, no, that looks like no. So BTS has been like the first like Americanized, like big mainstream in the US K-pop group. The K-pop phenomenon really has been like brought to full force because of BTS over the years, their collaborations. And we obviously have like Blackpink, like girl groups and others who have come out. And there's so many other groups that are rising in the US market, but are so big overseas. And these groups are like huge in the amount of people. There's up to like sometimes 11 or like 12, 13, 14 people in a group. And yeah, I've kept up. Obviously, the US market likes to keep up with BTS. And one of their members, Jin, just completed his military service a little bit ago. And it seems like they're all teasing that something may be coming. And they've all done independent careers. Like J-Hope's had a few things by himself. But everyone has had to complete a service of some sort for, you know, their country. So my cousin, for example, in order to keep his Singapore citizenship, he had to complete X years of service in the military. So that was the biggest thing of we haven't seen as much in the BTS market because they each have had to go complete like a service of some sort. And so they've been like, okay, let me do like a solo project in this time. Let me like do this and that. But we might have some new music in the K-pop arena for BTS, which I don't know. I'm gonna say it. I think they're gonna do something with Ed Sheeran.
Really?
I think they did before, if I'm right. I'm probably wrong. Please don't cancel me. But I have seen a lot of K-pop artists also, like Blackpink did something with Selena Gomez.
Yeah.
And so like this crossover Blackpink with Lady Gaga. Like I'm going to look up really quick just like some BTS songs and like look at their top streams. And obviously this is like on a global market, but at least for any like English speaking songs and more, there's like Butter, there's like Dynamite.
Oh yeah.
So they have
that was all BTS. Wow, I didn't know that.
Smooth like butter. But I have a feeling like we'll get some more US like collaborations because BTS also had one with like Halsey.
There's so many of them.
There are so many.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 members of the band. Why are they called BTS?
I used to know hang on, I'm looking it up. In college, I used to know how to say the pronunciation, and I don't want to be.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. What does
so it's an abbreviation.
BTS stand for? Bulletproof Boy Scouts.
Behind the scene. Oh, Bulletproof Boy Scouts?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you had trouble pronouncing?
No, the actual Korean enunciation.
I know.
Like my
Bulletproof Boy Scouts? What a stupid name.
You have feelings about everything.
I mean, come on. Who's like, I'm going to go see the Bulletproof Boy Scouts? BTS is a cool name.
Yeah. But my roommate in college, he studied abroad in Korea. And so we discussed so much like about K-pop music. So I thought that'd be a fun little thing to include in our little music roundup today.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Education.
I'm cultured now.
The Bratwall also by Charlie XCX says, okay, bye now. She released her like...
Another deluxe edition?
No. It says, okay, bye. Remember last time we recorded, we were in the studio and we're talking about the Bratwall with a Lorde collaboration all of a sudden being flipped around. But now Charlie's like, okay, bye on the wall. So
Oh,
she's like, I'm
she's
done.
done.
She's like, I'm not pulling a Taylor. Like, no more.
Okay, good for her. I'm
But
starting to like her more and more.
in other news, Ice Spice might be having a collab with Taylor Swift on her new upcoming music.
See, you talk about my reactions, but then you always pick the people I hate the most.
Which one, Ice Spice or Taylor?
Taylor.
Okay.
Ice Spice is fun.
Well, she said that
I'm just over Taylor.
she said Taylor did her the favor, and so when she jumped on the Karma single, but people are thinking that Taylor's going to be on Ice Spice's upcoming music. So that's something to look out for, which I honestly wouldn't doubt at this point for how much we've talked about things and releases from Taylor.
Yeah.
But my last thing I want to talk about is BB Rexa.
Yeah.
And how she...
Charlie XCX 2.0.
Same but different. Kidding. BB Rexa is like going this morning.
She's Boom Clap, right?
No.
That's Charlie?
It's Charlie.
So what is BB Rexa saying? Oh, I'm going to show you crazy. I'm going to show you logo, maniac, sick, bitch, psychopath.
Yeah. I was just wanting to see how far you could go.
That's BB Rexa, right? Okay.
So she has a lot of like, for background, she started out doing a lot of different tracks and she wouldn't be accredited and she wouldn't be joining like the music video for David Guetta and more. And she always like would record demos. People would be like, you'll be involved. And TLDR, she's been like really not getting her flowers as much as of late. She has some good like singles. She has great composition.
Blue,
but she
isn't really her song, but I'll give it to her.
But she has Me, Myself, and I. She has like 1 in a Million, In the Name of Love.
In the Name of
Love. See, yeah, she has a bunch, but she had a video on TikTok of someone describing if I ever ran into BB Rexa on the street, I wouldn't recognize her. And that started this big trend of like, who the hell is BB Rexa? You know, like who the hell is she? She's everywhere, but at the same time, people don't know who she is. But in the last year or two, she's actually exploded in like the front facing side of like people understanding who she is. And honestly, in a very mixed way, like kind of sad and kind of good. Like she's getting a lot of like opportunities to perform in front of people at good like award shows and more, but she's also gotten like things thrown at her. So people recognize her as, oh, like you're known for the girl who got thrown stuff at. Like it's sad. Some people like know BB Rexa as of that, but she went on Twitter, well, X, formerly Twitter, and she says, quote, I've been silenced and punished by this industry.
Oh.
So she's had her fair share of like things that she has not gotten credit for or been undermined for, but she said, I could bring down a big chunk of this industry. Oh. I am frustrated. I have been undermined. She said, I've been quiet for the longest time. I haven't seen the signs, even though people constantly are bringing them up, and they've been so obvious. When I've spoken up, I've been silenced and pushed by this industry. Things must change, or I'm telling all of my truths. The good, the bad, the ugly.
Were you silenced or were you silent?
I think she's, as she said, quote, I've been quiet for the longest time. She's been silent. And I think she, rightfully so, has a lot of things she's been upset about, but she's spoken on the record of like,
pop off.
How her vocals are going to be used as a demo, and then like her vocals are actually used. And that, hey, mama, hey, ma. Yeah.
Oh.
That was a demo. And she's like, it was actually used in the end. So people recognize her voice, but she's not really gotten the credit she deserved. And I think BB Rexa deserves a moment. She's great live. She's great. But I'm interested to see what is going to be coming up for her in this reckoning, you know?
I'm ready. Pop off.
I'm ready to see some...
Let's go.
Give
me a Netflix documentary.
Come on the podcast. Trisha Paytas actually responded to the tweet and said, support your girl. Would love to have you on the pod. And I was like, the Trisha Paytas podcast having BB Rexa?
That would be hilarious.
That would be great.
How is Trisha doing these days?
She's doing great. She has 2 kids.
Well, I know that, but like, she's got her podcast. She's still
cruising.
She has, good for her.
Should we move on to Watch or Skip?
Yes, let's do it.
Well,
oh, I'm so excited because I watched The Bear over the weekend, like I told you that I would.
Oh,
I binged it just for you.
Did you get stressed watching it? Because like it's very, like it's a lot sometimes.
It's a lot slower than I was expecting. I will say that.
Yeah.
If you don't binge it, I don't know if I would be week after week. Like it took me until like
Correct.
episode 7 of season 1 before I was like, okay, let me look forward to the next episode.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I haven't gotten to season 3, but like I'm gonna watch. We
And
talked about it before. I'm gonna watch.
you know what I realized in watching it?
Hmm.
Jeremy Allen White is not that attractive.
Oh my god, girl, don't even. I'll bring you up the Calvin Klein campaign and we'll get back to you.
Yeah, he was attractive in the Calvin Klein campaign, but in The Bear, I'm like, it's not doing it for me.
Is he in that rat boy category?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not into the
Different
rat boy summer.
Different rat boy. Like same but different.
I'm not. He's got a great body.
Love you, Jeremy Allen White.
So yes, I'd say watch The Bear for sure because I watched it and I can't wait to watch season 3, which I'll make sure I watch before we're back in studio next week.
Do you watch true crime stuff?
No, I hate true. Oh my god, true crime is the worst.
Oh my god,
I don't know how anybody can watch true crime and like be like have a normal working brain. I'm just because like they always kill the woman and they like slaughter her and they cut her open and then you get to the end of the documentary and then at the end of it they're like, if you have a hot tip, let us know where he's
That's
at.
America's
and
Most Wanted. That's different. Same
no,
but different.
it's like on 48 Hours. Like he's always on the loose. Like I want to make sure that he is locked up.
Well, anyway.
What about true crime? Is there something that you recommend in true crime?
So,
I don't like true crime.
I am a doc murder person. Like, I once
watched. What brings you joy in watching people get
just
murdered?
Humbling myself and being aware of that, like, not everything in life is peaches and cream. Like, it's
no, I want to
this
live
stuff
in
happens. It's know how to defend yourself. It's also like I love documentaries of that style and just like real people getting to tell their story. Sometimes it's overhyped, but Worst Roommate Ever just came out with a new season on Netflix. And it's these people who detail their worst roommate they've ever lived with. And sometimes it ends up in people dying, most of the time people dying, or attempted murders and people telling their experience, like from drug dealers to like people who stalked them to
oh my God.
Like in the first season, there's an old woman who would kill these elderly residents that live with her and told their families that they moved away. Like, there are some wild stories that, again, these happen in everyday life. And I watched one episode with the boy I've been seeing, and I watched one with my roommate.
Hi.
And they're...
I know he's watching.
And, I mean, like, these stories are just nuts. They're 45 minutes. It's a watch. If you are in for that, like, I want to know what happens and... places near me, like there's one that happened in Palm Springs near us.
Ooh,
too close to home.
I'm scared.
But I also like love watching different things just to be educated on history. Like Night Stalker was on Netflix, and like
I couldn't. The Dahmer, I couldn't get into them.
That one's different. That's like Dahmer's an adaptation of what.
No, they
were
like the Dahmer. Dahmer tapes and like there were multiple different documentaries like on Netflix about it.
But I like watching them because I like knowing about the history of certain cities and like things that have happened in the past and how we've gotten better at DNA and more.
Did you learn much about the Night Stalker?
I did, actually. It's scary to think of like why LA is the way it is and like the Cecil Hotel, like why we have certain policies. You live too close to it.
I did see the Cecil Hotel one and I don't like, it's so creepy, but also, okay, see, when I do get into them, I get into them. And I think that there's more conspiracies about that Cecil Hotel. I think that the documentary was a like some sort of PR stunt to make it seem like, oh no, she wasn't like, it's not a haunted hotel. She just didn't take her meds that day. And they try to make it seem like it was an accident because they're trying to reopen it and put like a rooftop bar. And I'm like, oh, so
No, I mean, there's so many different things, like, obviously from the Cecil. There's other documentaries that explore things out of LA that have happened, like the Hillside Strangler that happened in, like, the 1970s, 80s, and, like, just certain reasons of why LA is built the way it is now.
Yeah.
And, like, the John Benet Ramsey case. Like,
oh,
why are there
you
bars?
Mean Katy Perry?
Why are there bars on the first floor of every building? Like, because people would be afraid that someone would kidnap or break into homes. Like, in LA, you see bars on a house, and you're like, it's not safe. It's like, actually, in that time when those homes were built, like, people were looking out for safety. So you learn more.
I know. Do you like the John Benet Katy Perry conspiracy theory?
We haven't had that
Katy
in a
Perry
minute.
is really. I know.
Yeah, we haven't had that
that
in a
Katy
minute.
Perry is really John Bonet. I mean, well, now that she's coming out with her new, she should just lean into it.
I feel like she'll get canceled even more if she does that.
Katie,
Yeah.
listen, some of the best artists have gotten canceled and come back. People love a comeback story.
That's what she's trying to do right now.
What if she comes out and she's like, listen, guys, I'm really John Bonet.
You know, she had her like whole train with the lyrics at Paris Fashion Week, and she had a video of people
That was
asking her
dumb.
in the van, like, why are you working with Dr. Luke? And she didn't even respond. So, like, I think she's contractually not allowed to also say, like, some of the things with Dr.
Yeah.
Luke. But we don't know on that other music news. But
When doesn't her song come out this week?
something like that. But
International Woman.
we're in movie TV news. So
Woman.
we'll talk about it when it comes out.
Mother.
She's in an ad right now
Waitress.
for like
so hot.
Wicked just moved up
It's
its
a woman's
Are you
world.
done?
Sorry.
Wicked just moved up its release date.
Oh, why?
They didn't want to compete with the certain slot, but they moved it up 5 days to compete with Gladiator 2. So
Gladiator is coming out with the 2?
it's come out with a numbered dose.
Isn't that like the original Gladiator?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Someone said, do it.
That I have no interest in watching that. Okay. What did they not want to compete with?
I'm looking it up right now because
Gladiator 2. That's such a plot twist. I didn't even know that they were coming out with a Gladiator 2.
yeah, I mean, I'd still watch it, but Wicked moved it up 5 days. It was previously scheduled to release on November 27th, the day before Thanksgiving, with the new date giving the movie more time to build word of mouth heading into the holiday corridor. That's
Dumb.
I feel like everyone's going to watch it regardless.
Yeah, everyone's absolutely going to watch it regardless. A week is not going to make a difference. There's another reason that they're not telling us.
Someone's contract's like, I
It's
have a
not
release.
so that there's more word of mouth ahead of, like, come on, that is dumb.
That is according to the Hollywood Reporter.
Well,
Well,
I'm sure it'll be great. Wicked.
it also allows it to avoid Disney's Moana 2, so they don't have to compete with Moana. Because that I also agree with that. Like, are you gonna go pick Moana or gonna go pick Wicked to go watch
I don't want to see Moana 2. I don't want to see anything too. Well, actually, that's not true. I do want to see Freaky Friday 2.
Think of the opening weekend though. We're about to get to Freaky Friday, but think of the opening. If you have a child and they're like, I want to go see opening weekend, one of them, you have to pick one.
Or you do what we used to do when we were children, and you buy tickets to one, and then you sneak into the other.
Oh my God, I love you.
Well, I don't know if you can do that anymore, because now you have to like assign your seats ahead of time.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, depending on the theater. But Freaky Friday 2's filming.
Listen, I grew up ripping off the system. No, yeah, my grandparents would do. They would go on dates, and they would go to the movies together, and they would go into one and then sneak into another.
Duh. That was like 70s.
Yeah.
So you're gonna
Okay, that was not the 70s, Andy. That was
no,
like
my grandma talks about that too. Like 70s, 80s, they would go like sneak in, like bring their kids into
no,
the theater.
I mean like modern day. I was saying I was doing that. I'm not from the
Oh.
70s and the 80s.
Oh, I mean, like I meant it was a lot easier back then, but I didn't know you could still do that in the 2000s, 2010s.
Yeah, we would do it all the time.
So back to
Okay.
Freaky Friday.
Back to Freaky Friday. I'm very excited because Evan, our friend Evan Real,
Our friend Evan.
posted on his Instagram story a video of them filming Freaky Friday 2.
Yeah,
Which
where was it in LA? Do you know where?
Um,
It looked like
across the street from Max's groomer. I know that. It was at Annabelle's, and Annabelle's is a bookstore in LA. Let me look this up.
it looked like Jamie Lee
Annabelle.
Curtis is an author.
Okay, well, she was an author in the original movie too, Andy.
But like she's like releasing another
new book,
installment, so she's
yes.
still an author.
Yes.
Um,
It's in Studio City. It was filming at Annabelle's Book Club, which makes me think. So the photos, and I posted them on Instagram too. So it was a video. He posted a video, but I took screenshots of it and posted that on Instagram. But so it showed a poster that looked like a book signing from Dr. Tess Coleman. Dr. Tess Coleman is the character that Jamie Lee Curtis plays, who's Aunt Lindsay Lohan's mother. Lindsay plays Anna, and Jamie Lee plays Dr. Tess, and Dr. Tess is a shrink. And so she wrote Through the Looking Glass in Freaky Friday 1, and now there's a new book, and it's called Rebelling with Respect
ugh,
is her new book. And so that's the poster
were you
that is
silent
printed.
or silenced?
right? And so that's a poster that was printed in the Annabelle's window, and it looked like Dr. Tess Coleman was doing a reading or doing a book signing. So she's still writing books. She no longer has her short red hair. She now has like longer gray hair, similar to like Jamie Curtis's classic look. But so now I'm thinking, I know Annabelle's is a regular bookstore in LA. Like Annabelle's exists. It's a real bookstore. But I'm thinking since Lindsay Lohan's character's name is Anna, and we know that she has a daughter, maybe Anna has a daughter named Belle or Bella.
I'm telling you, they all swap. They all swap.
Yeah,
and they all
of course they all swap. That's the premise of Freaky Friday.
Remember what I told you last time we talked about this? I was like, they're all going to be in different places and they can't get a hold of each other. And the Lindsay Lohan character, Jamie Lee Curtis character, they're going to know what's going on, but the daughter's going to have no idea.
No, they're all going to have. Okay, the premise of every single Switch movie ever is about how you have to solve the problem together. You have to work together to try and figure out. I know. And so now they're having it happen again and they have to figure out what to do. Well, I guess.
But they always introduce new people when that happens, of people who have been like, I never experienced this. People are like, we have to do this, but we can't get a hold of someone, or they have to go through their own shit to figure it out. So I think the daughter's a swap in this, you know? And like, I'm going to call it. Maybe like the daughter is going to be the best like selling book author. And then Lindsay Lohan's character.
No, because she's going to be a young girl and Dr. Tess Coleman is the one that's writing books.
Okay, here's my theory.
Okay.
Ready? Lindsay Lohan's going to be her daughter because they're probably riffing on like their mother-daughter relationship.
Lindsay Lohan's going to be whose daughter?
Her daughter. Her own daughter.
Oh.
And then her daughter.
Oh, yeah.
Her daughter's probably going to be grandma.
Yeah.
And understand the pressure that grandma, you know, takes care of. And then grandma's going to be Lindsay Lohan, Jamie Lee Curtis, Lindsay Lohan. And realize how much she is caring for maybe like the granddaughter, because I have a feeling that she's like, you're not taking care of your daughter. You're not doing all these things behind the scenes. Like she's doing the most.
Yes. I'm pretty sure there's going to be like an element on, and Dr. Tess doesn't like how Lindsay is parenting her daughter and her daughter's maybe being rebellious the way that she was. I don't know. But I mean, we're going to learn about how to rebel without respect. Also, we can flashback to when I gave my prediction last time, and I did predict what Andy just said. I just want to say I was the first person to predict that Jamie Lee Curtis was going to be Lindsay was going to be the daughter, and the daughter is going to be the grandma. I predicted that first.
I don't remember that, but
I just want that. It's on camera.
We'll have to go back and look. But I told you, I was like, I'm sure the daughter's involved as a swap. You're like, no, just the two of them are swapping.
No, I said they're all going to swap, but you said they're all going to be in separate locations and they're not going to be able to figure out how to solve the swap without each other.
True.
And I said that's not true. I said I don't think they'd be separated. They have to all be together to work together to reverse the swap. And I think I will be proven right.
I have a feeling like.
But I'm glad that I get to set these up and then you get to eventually come to find the light.
Find your light, find your inner goddess. I think that's all of our stories this week.
Is it?
Yeah. We have a lot of you who listen again and finish every single episode of this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I don't know who.
We love you.
I love you. I think you should subscribe if you haven't, because we have quite a few people who listen every week, but I'm like, if you haven't subscribed, then what are you doing? But yeah, like, you all are very dedicated and very appreciative of that. So if there's stuff you also want to hear about, we'd love to hear from you at the Pop Report on Instagram. Like, Pop Report Podcast would be a great thing for us to hear, like, what stories we haven't covered, because there's some things we definitely hear that you don't want us to cover. Like, I've heard less politics. But yeah. Zach, anything from you for this week?
No, but I mean, listen, when you guys are listening to the Pop Report, be sure to post on your Instagram, tag us. I will repost you. I know Andy has an algorithm and a feed that he has to obtain his image with, but I will make sure I repost you.
Ooh.
So be sure to tag us and tag the Pop Report. Let us know that you guys are listening. And then we should give a shout out.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so we got a new one from 2V Land.
2V, not to be confused with Tuve Lu.
2V Land. Another great view on What's What. I love listening to Zack and Andy play off of each other. I also like the expanded coverage from No Filter. Each episode has a place and the overlaps can be fun. nice to see y'all being successful. Oh, they think we're successful.
They think we know what we're doing. I mean, sometimes we do.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Well,
Keep leaving us reviews. We'll keep shouting you out. Make sure you leave your name in your review. That way we can give you like a proper shout out, you know?
yeah.
Like Bertha from Birmingham, you know? Jason's side piece.
Zack's side piece number 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be good to hear from you. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a minute. All right, y'all. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.